Good morning. This is Ricardo with the Code 7 Podcast Network, and we are live here on Survive and Thrive Fit Challenge crew page. And you know, I said good morning. It's 11:47. I mean, it's close enough, right? It's it's still morning, kind of, or I can go ahead and say good afternoon, whatever. But here I am, and my good buddy Ryan was going to be joining me today. However, um, he's either pooping or working. He's gonna love that when he ends up seeing this. he, I believe he's working right now, so he told me to go ahead and jump on and do this, and and here we are. So I've got this going. We're currently live. I'm here at work right now. Was just wanted to take a few moments to jump on and speak to all of you. I think we have now, from the moment that I posted that I was going to be going live and celebrating this 2 year anniversary, we have about 735 members in this group, which is way more than I ever thought we would ever have. This it's been great. There's been a lot of people that have joined, and it has just been a really good time. One of the things I want to just right off the bat mention and say, Happy New Year, Happy 2020, and everything's been starting off really well. One of the things going on with myself right now is I finally started up the Patreon page for the podcast. So if you're interested at all, but I have to say right off the bat, the podcast, all of that will always be free. What Patreon is it's for those who want a little more out of the podcast, free perks, discounts to the store, um, all different kinds of things that come with that. Free T-shirts, free buttons, stickers, a bunch of different stuff that can come with that. So it's Patreon. It's Patreon, or Paul, Adam, Tom, Robert, Edward, Ocean, Nora. Yeah, I just phonetically spelled that. .com slash WTT podcast. And you can find everything there. There's a lot of people who have joined already. I think I have about 20 patrons. And one of the goals I want to hit is 500. I want to hit 500 patrons on the Patreon page, because with that, a good portion of the money that I make from that will end up going to fund the Within the Trenches Continuing Education Scholarship. And as you may or may not know, I made a an announcement right before the new year that my big push for 2020 is to send a dispatcher to um, each national conference. So one dispatcher would go to Navigator, one would go to APCO, and one would go to NINA. And also, if you're an industry partner out there, um, I'm looking for your help as well to partner up to be able to do this, to send a dispatcher out there, because those conferences are amazing. The education that comes from that and the networking alone is just it's really good. And I've always wanted to give back since the beginning when I started all of this, and this is my way. I've been doing it since 2016, but for 2020, I want to be able to send someone, three people, out to these national conferences. So we're working on that. So again, if you're interested, you can check that out at patreon.com/WTT podcast. And then I'll be adding a bunch of different stuff to my website as well, which is withinthetrenches.net. So as I mentioned before, it's the 2 year anniversary. And, I thought we still had a little bit of time before that was coming up. And Ryan Dedman, who's with the 911 Training Institute, he ended up sending me a message yesterday and said, "Hey, man, it's the second anniversary. We didn't do anything for it." And I said, "Well, yeah, we didn't do anything for it, but I thought we still had a couple days." But so here I am. We're here a day later, and I'm sure he's going to be posting up a few things as well. I'm going to try to type something up, but I wanted to kind of do this and kind of speak from the heart, I guess, so that anybody who's on here later on can also watch this back. So, this all started, as I said, a couple years ago, and it was really a journey for Jim Marshall of the 911 Training Institute and myself and Ryan, we were all kind of going through some issues. I especially was going through some medical issues where I was getting dizzy just standing somewhere, and or my equilibrium seemed like it was off. There was just so many different things like back pain, shoulder pain, all kinds of crazy stuff was going on, and and it was horrible. So I already was trying to work on something, trying to figure out what to do, and I got a phone call, and they got a hold of me, and they were saying, we want to do we want to do something together. We want to try to figure something out so that we can better ourselves. And I was all about it. Um, Again, I had been already playing around with the idea of just doing something, anything to better myself, for my own mental health and wellness, and just physically, just trying to figure things out. I mean, I had been at the biggest I had ever been. I think I was at 208 or 210 pounds, and for myself, I had gotten a little thick. So I was trying to figure out what to do for myself, and when this came up, like I said, I was all over it. I said, let's do this. So we put this out there, and we started calling it, the Survive and Thrive Fit Challenge, and it we wanted everybody to know right off the bat that if you joined up with us with what we were doing, it's not us trying to get the numbers. This wasn't like a Biggest Loser type thing. We weren't looking for numbers just to lose weight. We were looking for anything and everything to do to better our own mental health and wellness, whether it be meditation, reading a good book, going for a run, any type of exercise or fitness, anything that would help promote overall better mental health and wellness. And then we started up this closed group for the crew, and we started adding more people and more people and more people, and we were there for each other, supporting each other through this. And Jim would put up a video of him doing a walk, on his treadmill, and or I would put up a video doing a bike ride or something like that, doing yoga, anything like that. We were feeding off of each other and just doing what we could to build each other up and continue to support each other in what we were doing with this challenge. And it just kept going and kept going and kept going. And during that time, I was doing a detox, and the detox was hell. It was hell, but it definitely helped me out in what I was doing. I ended up losing like 30 pounds, and that helped out with so much. I mean, I stopped sugar, gluten, dairy. I'm allergic to dairy, so it was good that I had stopped that, and I had stopped drinking alcohol and caffeine, and or caffeine intake rather. And so there was a lot of different things that I was doing, and really cleared up a lot of the inflammation that I was having in my back that was causing those back pains, because the back pain was crazy to the point where the pain was going up my neck and into my head and just causing all kinds of craziness. So it really helped to do that. And I just continued and continued and continued, and went a year. I think it was about a year that I was doing this. The detox was only supposed to be for 6 weeks, and the main part of the detox only lasted that long. But some of the stuff I continued doing, like I was alcohol free for that whole time, and it just really helped a lot. And we continued this, and we continued and continued this group, and it grew and grew and grew. And as I said in the beginning, we've now reached 735, 734, 35, something like that. There's still probably a couple people that are trying to add it now as I'm talking to you. Um, but it was excellent. It kept going and kept going. And then, as things sometimes happen, you fall off, or you just get really busy, and you have to reroute your priorities and stuff, which is weird to say, reroute your priorities, because you would think that your health would be a priority, correct? Well, for myself, it ended up going off the wayside a little bit. So We're building up to October 2019, and it's September, and we're still doing a lot of different things. Ryan is always posting a bunch of different stuff on the page within this closed group, for people to learn, and then everyone else, if they're doing a run or exercising or anything like that, they're posting pictures, and everyone is encouraging everyone. We're supporting each other and being there for each other. So we continue doing that, and I had told him, I said, I think I need to do sober October. I've been working like crazy, and I've just been in this cycle of doom where I'm taking in energy drinks during the day and then having a beer or two at night to calm myself down, and then actually go to sleep, and then waking up early in the morning to get work done before going to work. Um, and then having another energy drink or coffee or something like that. So this endless crazy cycle of um, mostly caffeine. I was I was killing myself with caffeine. Um, I knew I had to make a change, and I know I've written about this, and you've probably read it, but I'm just doing kind of a recap here as we mark this 2-year anniversary of this fit challenge. And so the end of September, I ended up starting early, and I stopped all caffeine, all alcohol intake, um, which I probably should have eased into it caffeine wise. The alcohol part was easy; it was just that one and done. It was gone. But the caffeine part, that was what really got me, which was crazy. I've always heard about people talking about how they can get headaches and such when when they've taken in too much caffeine. I've got a few relatives who would drink a Coke or a Diet Coke every morning, and if they didn't have that intake, they would get these headaches and stuff. And I always thought, oh, that's weird. I've never had that before. Well, let me tell you, I did this time because I was always drinking sugar-free Red Bulls, and it really got to me. So when I decided to go ahead and do this and just completely dropped it, um, I was getting these headaches, and there were a couple points, a couple times where I got to the point where I almost broke down and had a few sips just to kind of take the edge off. But I thought, no, I need to go ahead and continue this, because if not, it's I'm only screwing myself here by doing that. So I just continued and continued, and it took about 3 or so weeks before I finally kicked those caffeine withdrawals, and I swear they were horrible. Um, Also during those times, I was doing keynote speeches, doing conferences, closing speeches, and then also doing the podcast, recording with a bunch of people, and so that was hard. That was hard, doing all of those, but also having kind of those caffeine withdrawals and stuff. And I'm just drinking water, drinking water, and but I got through it. I got through it, um, and and it was good though, because something happened to me um, at the end of October. Just this past October, it was actually on Halloween. I had an emergency room scare where I was having trouble breathing. I was having headaches. My vision was blurry. Um, my my speech wasn't slurred, but I pretty much went through my EMD protocol, and they were symptoms of a stroke. So I ended up going to the urgent care to get checked out, and everything came back normal. But they said because I was having the chest pain that I needed to go to the emergency room just in case. So I did, and I was there, and being there in the emergency room was really an eye opener. Now, this isn't the first time that I've been to the emergency room, but being there, I thought about how crazy it was, that how things could have been different had I not decided, had I not said, let's do sober October, and I just kept on this vicious cycle of caffeine that I was taking in, and the way I was doing it, that maybe that emergency room visit would have been completely different. I might be in worse shape than I was at that time. So I got emotional, man. I when I got home, when they sent me home and said everything was fine, I got pretty emotional sitting there thinking about what that was like. And I was talking to a friend and telling that person, this could have been way different. And excuse me, yeah, I got emotional about it because I mean, I could have I easily could have had a heart attack while I was, if had I stayed on there and not done sober October, it could have been way, way worse. I mean, my blood pressure at that time, when I was there, let's see, I think it was 168 over 110, maybe something like that. It was high, and I had not taken my blood pressure medication in maybe a year. I know it's my own dumbass fault. Um, But as soon as I left there, you bet your ass I took that medication and I've been taking it regularly ever since because that scared the shit out of me. And I took my blood pressure yesterday and it was 109 over 72. It has never been that low before. And I'm happy that I've stuck with it. And, I think it's something that I needed to happen, just to kind of kick in the ass, to let me know how stupid I was being. And apparently, I like to learn the hard way. So, all of that happened. And since September, I've been, I haven't had any alcohol or caffeine. I've stayed away from it. Um, so it's been good. This entire fit challenge has been good for myself personally, and I know a lot of others that are out there that have joined the group, that just the camaraderie, really all of us there being there for each other. It's been really good for each other and pushing, um each one just to be better in overall mental health and wellness. And I thank you, all of you, for being part of this group and doing all of this with us. um I'm wearing my Survive and Thrive shirt today. I don't have these in production or anything, but um, if there are those out there that are in the group, that if there's enough of you that would like one, then I'll end up putting them in production. But I only made a few of them, and this is just one of them, that I have. So again, this whole thing has been really good, and I thank all of you for being part of this, for joining myself, and for the podcast, and those who follow and listen, and especially for Ryan and Jim Marshall of the 911 Training Institute. That has been good for all of us to be able to do this and to be here with you. I'm hoping that we can do more of actually what I'm doing right now. We can do like a live Q&A type thing where if you're on and you're listening, and we're just talking about certain things, we can talk back and forth to each other, because I'm interested to know, what all you are doing, um, for self-help and beyond in 2020, because that's one of the big things that I want to push and hammer on, and and really find out what everyone is doing, because self-help is really big. One of the videos that I posted a couple days ago, I was at the chiropractor. I hadn't been there in a year, and I definitely needed it. Even though I've been doing yoga every single day and stretching out, it needed just a little bit more, and it definitely helped with the adjustment. So if you're watching this right now or afterwards, throw something in the comments. I'm very interested to know what all of you are doing. I know it's the beginning of the year and it's cliche to say new year, new me, and all that bullshit. But seriously, if there's something that you've been thinking about doing, and you're wanting to jump into it, just do it, because it's not going to hurt just to go ahead and at least try it. That's what I've been doing. Some of the stuff I've been learning the hard way. Other stuff has been very, very rewarding. So I want to thank all of you very much for joining, for watching, and again for being part of this group. And there is much more to come. So thank you. And again, in the comments, please, what is it that you're doing for yourself, self help, and beyond in 2020? Have a good one.